Hey, what's going on, friends? My name is John Waldman. I'm a filmmaker based in New York, and today we're going to talk about my FX6 rig. So I have had the FX6 for almost just about 2 years now. I have bought various different pieces, tried different things, and I finally feel like it's in a place where I'm happy with where things are and figured I could kind of make a video about it. You know, I've had some trial and tribulation in terms of things that I've added to this rig. Just want to talk about the accessories that bring me value to this rig and ultimately make this a better camera. Apologies also, I think I'm a little under the weather, so if I don't have the same spunk and pizzazz, or you could possibly hear it in my voice. The first sort of thing that I wanted to get, top cheese plate just for various mounting points, you know, mounting different things, monitors, accessories, whatever. So I got the wooden camera top cheese plate. Shortly after, I realized I also wanted a V-mount adapter, so I also went with the wooden camera V-mount adapter. Both of these have been great. They are, you know, both about 2 years old. They have done their job. I'm very happy with the build quality. There's multiple D-taps. It's been great. This is my first camera that I've owned that I've put together a V-mount scenario, and I am very happy with this so far. After buying both the top plate and the V-mount adapter, I quickly wanted to get a base plate, which I will say gets to my first lesson and recommendation is just to buy the whole kit together. I bought it piecemeal and it probably wound up costing me a little bit more money. You know, I went with 2 wooden camera accessories. I went on the website and I think at the time you can only get the base plate if you buy it in the kit. And I remember looking at the kit at that time. It was after I bought the camera and I'm like, you know, what was it, like $1,500, $2,000? I'm like, dang, like I just spent all this money. I don't really want to go for it just yet. So anyways, I went with the bright tangerine base plate, which I gotta say is an absolute beast. This is my first product I've ever bought from Bright Tangerine, and their stuff is just built to last. This is such a nice base plate. The only downside is it is expensive. I think this was like $500, which when you think about it, that is kind of freaking insane. Standard for 15 mil rods, you know, slide right into a standard RE dove plate. I also like it's come included with this extra, like, it's like a dove plate, cheese plate kind of thing. It fits right under the base plate. If I'm traveling, I'll opt to just like rent a tripod locally, and instead of just bringing this whole dovetail, I'll just pack that little accessory, put it right on there, and then I'm able to mount it. You know, there's so many mounting points, it's easy to put on another tripod plate. So yeah, that kind of goes for the main 3 things that I bought. Went with some small rig rods. I bought a few different sizes. No complaints whatsoever from them. You know, business is booming? No. You know, just going back with the rods, obviously, you know, rods are great. You could add accessories to it, like a follow focus and whatever. But I also like using it just for another point of contact. I'm able to hold the camera by the rod. So that just kind of eases up the tension on the glass. So, all right, let's talk about this microphone. It's a Sony microphone. It's only $200. I was previously coming from the world of mirrorless cameras and using like Rode, shotgun, like hot shoe mics. I wanted to completely get out of that world. So it took me a little bit of a discovery phase and kind of figuring out what would work and not. But this guy has been really great for me. This lives on my camera. I use it. It's great for natural sound. I mean, I've used it in a pinch if I need to use it as my main source of audio, but which then gets to my primary source of audio is a Sennheiser, was it MKH 416. This mic is fantastic. I use it for all my interviews, but it's a little bit too long to mount onto this camera, so that's why I really like this Sony microphone. I think for the money, it is a great buy. And yeah, I also use it on an FX3, so I mean, this has just been a really nice middle of the road piece of audio gear that lives on my camera. Talking about the V-mounts, I'm using these Shape full play batteries, 135 watt hours. So I got 3 of these guys. Continuing on, we could talk about monitor. I have a small HD 502. It's an older version. I don't think they make these anymore. I love it. I've had this now for probably 2.5 years probably. I bought a small rig cage for the monitor. My only caveat is sometimes on a very, very bright day, it is a little hard and maybe isn't the brightest screen, but it's still working. And when I feel I need the upgrade, I'll probably get the newer version of this. So anyone, let me know what small HDs you're using. I use a dummy Canon battery that goes right into the D-taps. So I'm able to power my monitor right through here while also powering the camera. Something that I've kind of learned along the way while using V-mounts to power this stuff. So this V-mount plate, I'm able to plug it right into the 19 volt, DC power in or whatever. And I could also, so I could keep a Sony battery inside of the camera, so I'm able to do a hot swap. That is really clutch, so you never actually have to stop. And I get a little bit nervous sometimes. For my FX3, I do have a V-mount rig for that as well, but I have to use, it's like the Sony battery, and it goes right into the V-mount. But I'm not able, unless I could power it through USB-C, but the way I have it, it's just, it goes right inside the camera and then right to the V-mount. God forbid something happens, the camera would shut off right away. So I kind of like having the safety, the backup, and sometimes also throw an LP6 Canon battery on the small HD. I just like to have the backups, the redundancies. I think that's clutch. So yeah, nothing crazy. I will say though, with this camera, I do really like the right angle SDI cables. They just work really nicely. I feel like it's just easy to kind of keep things out of the way. Funny enough, one of the pieces that's kind of been the most rotating and hard to really lock down which one I want is this articulating arm. I've rigged this monitor a number of different ways, bunch of different arms, and I've finally found myself on this Condor Blue. It's like a ball head articulating arm. I really love it. Check this out. Well, this is probably a bad angle, but it's just super easy to kind of move it around. It screws nice. The build quality is fantastic. This works really nice when I'm flying this on my Easy Rig. The Easy Rig clamps right here, and then I have easy play with this guy right here. I mean, primarily, I was a diehard Noga Cine arm guy. Especially if it's like on a tripod and I'm not really doing too much movement, I'll still pull that out. But ever since I got this, it's kind of just lived on my camera. Yeah, Condor Blue is really dope. I'm really digging on their stuff. It's got a nice little aesthetic to it as well. The blue is cool, but it's just like so easy to move your monitor around. And when the monitor was on the Noga arm and I was on the Easy Rig, I felt it was kind of hard to adjust. This thing is just much easier to adjust on the fly, make quick little micro adjustments. So that's my articulating arm of choice. I know that I probably spent more time talking on this one little piece of gear than anything else, but that's kind of where I'm at. I've also added the Mondo Ties to my rig from our Mondo Bites. These are just really helpful for cable management, and as you'll see here, there's a bunch of different cables going on. You got your monitor mount, you got your XLR, dummy battery cable, SDI cable. There's a lot of stuff going on. That was one of the problems I was having, especially when I was flying it on the Easy Rig. I was like, dude, there's like so many wires everywhere. These just kind of help clean stuff up a little bit, and yeah, it's been a nice welcome addition to the rig. I've got 3 on here right now. I've even put one on my monitor. I just really like keeping cables clean. It freaks me out when it's like too busy and all over the place. I'm usually not a sucker for when I see a new product come out, but when I saw this ad or whatever, maybe Armando posted, and I was like, this is freaking sick. I gotta pick these up. So it was the quickest, and I'm sold. Bought it right away. So yeah, that's been really clutch for cable management. Probably looking and seeing I don't have a lens support on here. The new 70-200 is super, super light that I don't really feel like I need it. But when I do need a lens support, this Shape lens support, this thing is really nice. If you're rocking with some heavier lenses, I definitely recommend this. It's just, truth be told, I am mainly using E-mount glass these days. It just fits my needs and the autofocus is great. I've become lazy, but when I'm using manual focus lenses and I want to pull focus, I'm using this small rig follow focus. I really like this thing. It's super cheap. It gets the job done. I've modded my Carl Zeiss Sienna lenses. They have follow focus gears on them, and so this is how I'm pulling focus with them. I think it's great, especially for the money. The only downside is the follow focus ring is pretty small. I've been looking at Tilta and Wooden Camera make a manual follow focus that just has a bigger ring. Besides that, it's great and it works with the lenses fine. I just might want something bigger down the line, so let me know what you guys think, maybe down in the comments if you have a recommendation. This is for when I'm flying the Easy Rig and I need to counterweight some stuff. Pull focus, come on. Anyways, I got these small rig rod attachments and counterweights. These are all the biggest ones that I have, but I have various sizes. You should consider picking these up if you're gonna fly your FX6 on an easy rig or just need to counterweight. So I don't own a matte box. I usually encourage flares into my workflow. I think it's a part of my style, but there definitely has been times where I'm like, oh, this is a little bit too much. So I have been looking a little bit into matte boxes. Maybe you guys could recommend something. To that note, I do use filtration, and you know, I've got some Hollywood Blackmagic filters, some ND filters that I use with the FX3, and a circular polarizer. One thing, while it's not particularly just to this rig, but just kind of like a little tidbit what I do. So, and as you can see here, I have a step-up ring. All of my filters are 82 millimeters, and on every single one of my lenses, I've put a designated step-up ring onto the lens and with an 82 millimeter cap, and each cap is labeled. And everyone has an 82 millimeter filter thread, so that just makes it easier for, you know, quickly changing filters. Anyways, guys, that's about it for today. I hope you learned something. I hope this video was helpful. I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I was kind of waiting until I got the last few pieces that I needed with this rig. I finally feel like it's in a good spot. A couple things might change down the line as mentioned, and you know, I also just made this video pretty much just for myself, just as kind of like a little time capsule of, you know, maybe I'll go back in a couple years and watch this and be like, oh, this is what I was doing and this is how I was doing things. So yeah, I hope this video brought you some sort of value. I hope you learned something from it. Maybe you learned from some of my mistakes. It's pretty simple. This rig gets the job done for me. In 2023, I am trying to create more stuff for myself. I found while 2022 was great, I had big growth with my business and I'm super proud of that. I found myself trapped in, I'm only really doing client work. That's the only thing I'm doing. So in 2023, whether it's YouTube videos, going out shooting photos for fun, maybe making some short films, mini docs, whatever, I got to start doing stuff for myself. And this is one of those videos, and hopefully it helps you in some way too, or you just like watching my videos. Anyways, guys, that's about it. I appreciate y'all. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Cheers.